What is up, guys? Back in today with another reaction to the Fragrant Flower Blossoms or Blooms with Dignity. This time with episode 2. First episode was good. Definitely overrated from what I've seen, to be honest. And I think that's more of a case of it less being overrated, but more so people rating it based on them reading the source material, which for people like me, anime only people, it gives the impression of I'm expecting this first episode to be one of the best first episodes I've ever seen of any anime ever, being that the score it did have on many kind of websites, and obviously that wasn't the case. It definitely a promising start for sure. I did like it, but yeah, just kind of sets a precedent when that kind of happens. So it's almost like the same thing as I think I mentioned this last week. It's almost the same thing as hate rating a show like 1 out of 10, for example. It's almost the same thing. It gives people a wrong impression going into that episode. So that's a little bit annoying from the fan base, and they don't seem to be taking any accountability or anything for it. So guess we'll just move on. But yeah, it was a fun episode last night. Definitely looking forward to seeing what is to come. I did mention last week it does kind of feel that with that rating, although that is the case, it does feel like it's going to be very promising. There's going to be a lot more awesomeness to come if people are head over heels for this show. Like, what happens if this show does a your format and just skips a whole volume of the source material? It won't do that because that your format is the only show I've ever seen do anything that stupid. Actually, Promised Neverland done something similar, I think, as well, right? But yeah, what if something like that happens? Like, now you've just gotten all these people into watching the show, and it's going to be shit. Again, I'm not expecting that to happen here, but like, what if? I'm glad we got the lyrics here. Also, I love this. I love this singer. He done the one of my favorite Jujutsu Kaisen openings, if not maybe my favorite. Tatsuyaki Tani. Like, I don't want to be a downer here, but what to the people that did rate the first episode perfectly, what did what stood out to you to give it that high of a score? What made it a masterpiece? This guy seriously does have some kind of issue, doesn't he? Maybe it's the red hair, and I don't think the spikiness is an issue because you see quite a lot of Japanese people with similar hair. Maybe it's because it's red. Like women turn into a bull around him and just get angry. Understandable. I wouldn't like them either. They looked at me like that for no reason. And that is a very common thing. Like that's happened to me before, of course. That happened to everyone. Got past someone, they got this horrible look at their face at you, and it's just like, what do I do? What do I do to make you look at me like that? Yes, he did. This has picked up exactly after where we left off. I think it'd be understandable if that was the case. Again, it's very odd placement of schools, isn't it? It really is just like shoving it right in front of your face. Like, this is what you could have had. This is what you could be. And to the girls, it's like, this is what you should watch out for. This is what you should look down on. Probably literally and figuratively. Kind of fucked up. That was pretty rude, actually, wasn't it? It also kind of looks like you're incriminating yourself a little bit. like you're peeking, and then when she's seen you, you got that. As I said, there's the construction of these buildings has actually formed this opinion in his mind, which is incredible to think about. Quite depressing to think about. I was looking at girls, real life women. Just the one, and yeah, of course it's her. Maybe it's the case of like what I mentioned in the intro. Maybe it's a case of visuals very much. Just to pause before anything else goes down here. Like, Jesus, I get that the girl's done that to you, but that doesn't mean you should treat other people like that as well. Something very interesting going on in Takabino Genzai right now. But yeah, perhaps it's the whole thing. Very recently, there's been shows like Jujutsu Kaisen and such that have less of a kind of storyline. I think Jujutsu Kaisen has a decent storyline, better than the other example I'm going to mention here in Solo Leveling, which, in my opinion, I can't stand. But like the production value is what a lot of people rate high on. Like, if it just looks nice and if it has nice animation, I feel like a lot of people rate things very highly just because of that nowadays. Whereas they kind of seen more so with more classic anime, which makes sense considering the kind of change in times and such. But I feel like older anime get rated higher based on how good a story or characters or plot it is. Whereas nowadays, again, with stuff like Solo Leveling, it's just how good does it look, how does the action look, how does the production look, and so on. Kind of compromises the story a little bit. I'm not saying that's the case here, but I feel like maybe also people are also judging it because it looks fantastic and the production is amazing here. Maybe that's also a reason why people are rating this so highly and such. It's just a really interesting topic for me. Like, of course it would be for someone who's an anime only. I think people, if you've read the source material, you're going to have a very different opinion because you know the story, you know how it goes. As someone that's only just getting into this, it is quite a interesting thing to think about, it being that kind of crazily highly rated. I wouldn't go as far to compare this to Solo Leveling though, because again, yeah, that show is just trash wrapped in some very fancy animation. And this guy, point, I almost feel like he deserves the fucking reaction he gets. Oh, Jesus. What, you're gonna resent him for that? You're gonna resent him for knowing a girl from Kikyo? Get away from those brutes. They're literally like scared for their lives. They do seem horrible, to be fair, don't they? Look at those faces. They seem horrible. Again, the boys don't seem too much better, judging from how he just treated her. But it's horrible. Like, I don't know what it is about that. It really kind of ticks me off a little bit. Just seeing people look at you like that. Look like you're a piece of filth. Another, maybe it also goes to, like, with the whole blue box as well. Because I wasn't a major fan of that show. And that's kind of in line with the solo leveling stuff. That had a really great production around it, but the story was unfocused, in my opinion. They didn't really do great at being a romance nor a sports anime. I think this is already doing a better job than Blue Box, though, to be honest. He's pretty good. He's pretty good. Most voice actors are pretty good at singing, aren't they? Like me on Yakuza right here. So do I. Bit of a protective like feeling here. Kind of indirectly protecting her by not mentioning her. It's a good sign. I mean, you'd like him to get to a point where he can talk about her to them, but yeah. We're gonna hear you soon. That sucks. Maybe we'll see him sing with Waggery at some point. Maybe we're saving it for them. Sounds like a puppy. His parents just come home. It kind of looks like one as well. I think that's the point, isn't it? It's interesting to think about their perceptions of each other. These Kikyo and boys. For Kikyo, I imagine it is just they're looking after themselves. They're like they don't see themselves as bad people. They're just trying to be safe. But they don't realize they come off horribly. Similar for the boys, I think. Oh, no stopping that, really, is there? Jesus Christ. The heart rates right now are max for both, aren't they? So I forget what a Chidori is. I know that term from Yu-Gi-Oh! That might be worse than the faces of the other girls looking horribly at you, seeing that sad face. I mean, it makes total sense that he'd be absolutely terrible with girls. I mean, he's not terrible, is he? But these guys that go seemingly in a boys' school very much lack experience, don't they? Well, you did. Essentially, you did. So you did give birth to a skeleton. I don't know about you guys, but like it's been good so far. But and I know that it's not going to be like a new take on so and so, but like it has just been good so far. There's nothing that's really majorly stood out with me. The chemistry between them is definitely probably the best thing about this so far. And I know we're only 2 episodes in, but yeah, it's just like how does it get so good from here? What's constantly on my mind, and that wouldn't be on my mind if motherfuckers didn't crazily rate stuff like this. I'd be yeah, I wouldn't yeah. Maybe I shouldn't blame others, but yeah. It seems very formulaic. and that's not a bad thing if it's done really well, and it's done well. But again, it's not done so well that it kind of majorly stands out to me. It did not. In fact, interest was peaked a little bit, seemingly from my waiting outside. I think it's very easy to get in this mindset, though, isn't it? Especially, again, given the school circumstances these two are in. Reinforces that mindset more, doesn't it? Jeez. Running your mum like that? Just to the opposite way. I also do like the fact that it is majorly focused on these two's relationship. I do imagine at some point we'll see more of the side characters and such, but I like that they're having a major focus on this. That's one of my favourite things about romance, when they actually, early on especially, when they don't kind of move left and right to other relationships and other characters, is directly giving us more time with these two. And I said earlier I like the chemistry. That'll be a thing that hopefully just kind of increases as the show goes on as well, I hope. Sorry guys. She's got a similar issue of blaming herself for things, hasn't she? That is, like, what were you meant to, like, yeah, just why would you blame yourself for that? You can understand where that might come from, but like, if I went to Kikyo, I could understand feeling apologetic for where I am in life when I'm comparing myself to somebody else, for example. Like, why did I deserve this and they don't, and so on. Little frog. I will say as well, the music in this show is fantastic, isn't it? They really know how to kind of set the tone with the music. Even that scene there had no music for most of it, and that, like, the fact that it had no music almost made it more powerful. And then when this lovely song kicks in, it's great. You better keep that fucking window open, bro. All the curtains open, should I say? You never close those again. It's adorable, isn't it? What must the people look at her be thinking they're open class? Okay, do you know, that was a lovely. That was probably my favourite segment of the show so far. That end segment there. Good episode again. I don't want to keep talking about it, but again, it's inevitable when I'm expecting so much. It's just, yeah, I've got to compare my presumptions to how it's been. So apologies if I keep talking about it. I'm gonna try and make an effort to not talk about it, but it's hard not to. Maybe I should have just like, it's hard with me doing YouTube to keep away from kind of looking at stuff like that, but perhaps I should maybe avoid kind of discussions and such about this show going forward. Just kind of keep it yeah, focus on my own opinions. But yeah, really good end to this episode, especially. I will say, as with the first episode, it did feel very kind of standard, as in like you're hitting all the beats I expected you to hit, and that's absolutely fine because they've done it really well. But there's nothing about that that's majorly stood out so far, except for that end sequence there. I do again think like that shot there really kind of emphasizes it. I do like the interesting kind of dynamic they have with the schools. I think that really adds something to both of them as people, as well as their romance. Nice ending. Nice ending song. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. As I said, I'm going to try not to talk too much about the other kind of the noise, to be honest with you. It's annoying as well because I had comments last week. Someone was telling me like I was talking too much, and it's like it's fucking my video. I do as I wish. But I talk so much because this I don't have to pay, like I'm paying attention, don't get me wrong, but I don't like I kind of, again, it just kind of hits the beats that I know are coming, if you know what I'm saying. Like I can read one sentence and I know the next 5 sentences, for example, except for, again, this kind of end of the episode here. And again, even when that is the case, like I still enjoy stuff like that. It's like you watch a movie a bunch of times and you still love it. It's kind of, I guess, a kind of similar thing. I'm not sure what's going on with my player right now, but it's messing up, so apologies. But yeah, it's because yeah, it's just very like kind of seen it and heard similar things before, so I'm paying attention, but I don't have to pay as much detail as like the Summer Hikaru died or something, as like a mystery show or something like that. Apothecary Diaries, where you have to kind of pay a lot of attention. Again, not saying I'm not paying attention, but it's just like, yeah, I don't have to kind of sit in silence the whole time thinking about it. But yeah, do let me know what you guys thought about this episode in the comment section. Again, I thought it was a good episode. I think it was I think this was my favourite segment of the show so far, this kind of last 10 minutes or 5 minutes or so of this episode. I think it was probably my favourite segment for sure. I might have preferred episode 1 as a whole, as a kind of good setup. Yeah, like I said, it's been good so far. I'm not saying the show's bad at all. It's just, yeah, don't hate on me for my opinions here. It's just what I think. Again, as you guys know, there's plenty of other people that have very high kind of opinions of this show, and I just think it's been good so far. So I will again probably focus a bit more on my own kind of I'll read your comments and such, of course, and see what you guys have to say, because I like hearing what you guys think, but I won't kind of go out of my way to kind of look up kind of reviews and such of this series just yet anyway. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought in the comments. Make sure to leave a like on the video if you guys do like, and subscribe to the channel if you do want to keep up to date. In terms of the again, it's really annoying. I'd love to kind of go through the scenes here with you guys. I'm not sure if you can see this. It's kind of like split in half. I kind of went through a lot of it anyway. I do find the relationships between the Kikyo girls and the boys really interesting, and you can totally understand why the Kikyo girls are the way they are. there's a bunch of monkeys in the other school that are just like, we saw their reaction to a girl just standing outside. They were like monkeys, like looking at food, like, is that a human woman? And could understand they might be quite scared and quite defensive, but again, there just really is something quite horrible about the way that those girls look at people. It's just like, yeah, it's just, I really hate stuff like that. I really hate that, and I really hate people that bitch about other people and talk about people behind their back. So that was something that popped up in this episode as well that I related quite a lot to. But I do wonder if we might see, I spoke earlier about them kind of focusing very much on the main romance of Waggery and I forget his name now, I had it for a minute there as well, and our main male character. I love that they've poured pretty much all efforts into that. They've had a little bit of characterization for the boys side of things, but we haven't had anything really from the Kikyo girls apart from those horrible kind of displays. So I've got to imagine we might be focusing on a few more of those girls in the future, maybe some kind of like side relationships and such. This redhead guy stands out as someone that probably will go through quite a bit of development, I assume. The black-haired one also kind of stood out as a very empathetic guy, to be honest with you. He really kind of gave me the vibes of he's really good with people's feelings and such, so I think we might see something to do with him and that with one of the Kiko girls as well, maybe. I think that would be pretty cool to see. But yeah, again, for the most part, just kind of, again, your standard kind of romance, hitting the beats, kind of karaoke. You get caught, the girl you like kind of is in a bad situation, a bit like the first episode, not nearly as bad, of course, but yeah, just hit those beats, hit them well. Production, again, fantastic. Love the opening and ending, of course. And yeah, had a good time. It's amazing how much more of a good time I might have had, / you do have, when you don't think about other people's kind of opinions and such. So again, I'll try not to do that so much in the future. But yeah, again, let me know what you guys thought in the comments. Leave a like on the video if you guys did like, and subscribe to the channel if you want to keep up to date. I'll see you next week with episode 3.